Hello and welcome to Liberty Mutual and Safeco Insurance Marketing Podcast. I am Vanessa Mora, the Business Science Program Manager of Agency Capabilities and Programs. Today we're chatting with a dynamic duo at RSS Insurance. We have Erin Huffman, who is the owner and principal at the agency, and Jenna Mahana, who is responsible for marketing and community relations. Thank you both for joining and welcome.
Thanks for having us, Vanessa.
Yeah, it's great to be here. Thanks, Vanessa.
Alrighty, our objective today is to have a genuine and insightful conversation about building business relationships via business and or industry associations and how hiring a marketer can aid the growth from this marketing tactic. Erin has developed relationships with numerous associations over the past 20 plus years, while Jenna's energetic personality has really reignited the agency's involvement in their local Chamber of Commerce. Together, they're executing on the agency's growth strategy and turning business relationships into repeatable referral sources. Alrighty, so we'll start with Erin. I'm going to start with you. Help me set the stage. Tell me a little bit about your agency and tell me about how the agency has evolved in the last 3 to 5 years.
Actually, the agency started in 1963. Our very first agency contract was with Safeco, which is it shows 1964 was the Safeco Liberty contract. It was started by two agents that just kind of old school put out their shingles and started building relationships within the community and working on different aspects in the various different areas. It primarily focused on personal lines over that time frame, and we have, as we've grown, the dynamics have changed quite a bit. So as of today, our operating revenue is roughly 50% from commercial insurance lines, 30% employee benefits, and about 20% of our overall revenue comes from personal lines insurance. I've been here since 1996, so coming up on 25 years here pretty quick. So the last 5 years have been pretty significant in partnership with Safeco and Liberty on some of their strategic initiatives. We've been able to rebrand and refocus, and we've seen really substantial growth both in terms of employees and team members and revenue as well. So we've roughly doubled in revenue over the last 5 years. We've had, our retention rates have increased. We're running client by client about a 94 to 95% retention rate. So growth has been good, dynamics have been good, and we're grateful for the partnership with Liberty.
Nice. Great to hear those numbers. So let's talk about associations. And I'll start with Erin again, and then I'll move into Jenna. So Erin, tell me why and how did you get started in associations? And what does your involvement look like?
So the associations were really something integral in the kind of the original acquisition of the agency by my father-in-law. So he purchased the agency from the original founding owners in 1995. And one of the primary reasons he purchased the agency was because they had two specific and one that is an ongoing relationship for us with associations. The reason that he found that so valuable is that it created a unique expertise and kind of in a homogeneous group where we could show specific value, good retention, and an expansion within those markets. So as I jumped into the agency shortly after the acquisition, it was just something that, I gravitated towards. I grew up in the construction services industry. My dad had at one point in time had an excavation business. And so I was in and around the industry for a long period of time. And so it just became this natural transition to seek out those associations and groups where you have people that are coming together for specific industry needs and training and product, where you could be consistent and relational with those entities. So.
Nice. So, Jenna, you've also been playing in this space of networking. I'll ask you the same question. Why and how did you get started, and what does your involvement look like?
Sure. So I was brought on as a marketer for the agency, and part of that role is to kind of get the agents more engaged in networking and getting out there, meeting new people. I think that a lot of times networking can seem intimidating, you know, if you're going to an event by yourself, and it's hard to put yourself out there. So I kind of became a partner to the agents, you know, let them know when something was going on, you know, and then kind of gauge their interest. Hey, would you want to come to this with me? Let's check it out. Let's see what's going on. And let's see how we can, you know, get further involved and, you know, see if it's beneficial and just form some great relationships out in the community.
So, Jenna, I'll pick on you.
Sure.
Why do you think it's important to really bring everyone kind of together to be part of an initiative like this? How does partnership with others in the agency help everyone succeed?
Sure. So I think it's really, I mean, it's helped obviously build relationships out in the community, but I think it's also brought us closer together as a team. You know, going to events together and meeting new people has definitely helped us all to bond, I think. So I just think it's great to kind of have, I think I've kind of been the person that's kind of organized a lot of that, those, like, you know, going out to these networking events and kind of keeping people updated on what's going on. So I think it's kind of helped us all stick together, you know, and get out there as a team, you know, and, you know, into our community, you know, meeting new people and just really getting out there and trying new things.
Nice. Can you guys also touch a little bit on what involvement looks like? Are you guys attending events? And I know we're going through
Weird
unprecedented
year.
times, weird year here, but thinking through how involvement looks like. How often are you guys going to network events? How many associations are you guys connected to? A little bit more insights on that space.
Sure. So I'd say we're probably a part of about 10 different associations, excuse me, right, Aaron?
Yeah,
That
that's probably
seem
either associations or chambers or.
Before COVID hit, I would say that we could go to, you know, 3 or 4 events a week. Obviously, that looks a lot different now. Some of our chambers have been picking up with some responsible social distancing networking events, and we have gone to a couple of those. But it's been very different with COVID. It's really changed the way that we connect with people. So we've been, you know, connecting with people on LinkedIn, online, just making sure we're following up with, you know, people that we used to see at all these events. It's definitely changed the way that we keep in touch with people. But yeah, before COVID, I'd say we could go to 3 or 4 events. I would go to most of them, honestly, but the agents would go to some by themselves, just kind of depending on what their involvement was with a particular association.
Nice. Nice, nice. So I know when we spoke, Erin, you also mentioned how Jenna was great to kind of bring in, you know, her personality was ideal for building these relationships and networking events. But she also brings more than just an energetic personality, right? She's also been able to help the agency bring some sort of consistency of messaging, right, to different events. So for Erin, what would you say is the value of consistent messaging?
Well, I mean, I'd actually, I'd like to talk through that as well as kind of partially the reason why we brought her on just in general. So one of the things that we've always encouraged is we've encouraged each of the agents to find something that they're specifically passionate about. And a lot of times that ends up being something where they can get involved in an association. A lot of it's very community focused, very, as an insurance agency and as a, you know, personally, we are very invested in the relationships within our clients and within the community. The value and one of the main things that we wanted to achieve by bringing Jenna in is to help with that consistency of messaging from an agency branding perspective, as well as partner with the agents so that they didn't feel like they were kind of doing it on their own. So even though you know, each of the agents is interested or passionate about the specific group that they're partnering with, whether it's early childhood development, solar energies. We do a lot in the construction services and greenhouse operations. Even though each of the people have an interest or a passion to help those specific industries, Jenna brings a consistency in agency brand messaging, both in terms of helping them communicate specific product using brand colors and brand product and terminology, And like she said, she provides a networking buddy to help, coordinate that. She's created a community involvement and a relationship calendar that is shared with the agency. So she keeps track of, a lot of times the agents will tend to be very reactive in their client service needs. And she provides a very proactive opportunity to go out and make sure that we're intentionally attending events on a consistent basis, that the agency is, as a group, is involved in those events. And then it helps the agent get excited as well, to continue to build those relationships. So a lot of it, Jenna's, larger than life personality is just a lot of fun to have in the office. And everybody loves her when she goes to the events, and so it's hard not to enjoy that piece of the operation. So,
Thanks, Erin.
yeah.
Make me feel so good about myself.
It was such a Jenna plug there, Great job, Jenna. Perfect. So, Jenna, what happens after an event? How do you communicate beyond the event to ensure these relationships that you were able to build or start creating during an event are nurtured? Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry. Go for it.
absolutely. So that's definitely been a big piece of, getting out to these networking events, is making sure that we're connecting with all of the people that we meet afterwards, whether that's through email marketing or just connecting on LinkedIn, shooting them a message, whatever it may be. I definitely have worked with the agents to make sure that they're doing something, to follow up with the contacts that they make at these different events. So not only do I follow up with them, but I'll make sure that whoever comes with me to the events follows up with them as well. And that just kind of depends on the particular agent. Some people are really great about this. And then some people I'm like, hey, this might be a great idea to kind of follow up with them. Maybe you could get further involved in, something that they're doing, so just kind of like making sure I'm looking for that opportunity. And then making sure that the particular agent knows about it. Like, hey, this would be great for you to jump into. Why don't you follow up with them, and see what's going on and start building a relationship with them.
And why would you say that's so important? Why would you say that it's really important not only for yourself, but for the agent to continue these relationships?
I just think consistency is key. The more that you communicate with someone and build that relationship, the more value there is in it. We really focus on building genuine relationships here at RSS. We're not just all about the sale. We want to get to know our clients or prospects, get to know them. We're interested in what other people are doing out there, not just to sell them insurance, but to know what's going on in our community. So I just think consistency is key. We want to follow up with people, keep up with what they're doing, and that's the best way to go about building relationships.
Okay, perfect. And going back to Erin now, I know, Erin, when we spoke, you talked about the importance of just being part of the community and how associations really is that driver, right? Being part of the association, being part of the community. Talk to me a little bit about that, about how you feel associations have really built your relationship with your community.
Yeah, associations are critical to the community, partially because of a lot of times they provide very specific services. So we do a lot with the Home Builders Association here in Colorado and in the Denver metro area, and they partner with a construction services related nonprofit that provides specific additional construction services to disabled, vets and individuals that are injured in the industry, or construction workers that have been injured on the job where they're doing home modifications. And so not only can we provide very specific coverage opportunities and education relationships for them to help them with their businesses, but we can partner with them in making our community better. So a lot of times associations, because of the number of people that are involved and the type of people that are involved, they want to be able to give back in ways where they're most skilled, whether it's construction services or sign organizations or whatever they may be. They tend to, like on the greenhouses specifically, they do a lot of food service work. So, we partner with them in both nonprofit and charitable community relationships. And plus, right, people want to do business. I firmly believe that people want to do business with other people, and they want to know that those people are committed to their own communities and the things that are important to them. And by being actively engaged in the associations and partnering with them on various different community relation events, it just builds that ongoing relationship. That community specifically, in my mind, drives retention. You know, a lot of times pricing becomes a primary conversation on the initial product discussion. But once you build the relationship with the client, then once they know who you are and how you work and what you do, that relationship becomes incredibly important. We never rest on that from a cost structure perspective, but it removes that as the primary driver of the relationship.
And to continue on that, Jenna, how do you market that involvement with the community? You guys are doing it. How do you share that so a larger base could hear about it?
So I would love to take credit for that, but Aaron and Sarah really implemented Care for the Community when they took over the agency years ago. They're amazing, you know, at giving back to the community. Before I even started, they had a Charity of the Quarter referral program, you know, where we support 4 charities throughout the year. So I think that it really stems from Aaron and Sarah, and it's trickled down into how they hire, you know, and how we do everything here at the agency. So when I came on, I just basically tried to help elevate what they started. You know, it all kind of came from Aaron and Sarah, and their personalities and their care, and it all just kind of came together, you know, and it's who we are today. So it really stems from these, you know, Aaron and Sarah and everything that they've done.
Well, most of what Jenna, just to add on to that, most of what Jenna and Sarah do is, you know, communicate the value of what we bring to the community and what is important to us. And we do that through a lot of different ways, through specific action we take within the community. But then Jenna and Sarah spend a significant amount of time sharing that information through Instagram and LinkedIn and Facebook and email communications. Jenna does a fantastic job with keeping up with, you know, our newsletters, so that we're sharing with our existing clients as well as prospects on, you know, how we're involved within the community and with our specific associations. Jenna does a great job of making sure that, you know, we're not only communicating with the association specific members, but we're letting others in our, you know, within our sphere of influence know of other events and education opportunities. And so a lot of times we have nonprofits and cross association interaction because of the way that communication is handled. But yeah, LinkedIn, Instagram,
All
Facebook,
social media.
all the social media has been a huge part of communicating that. And again, the consistency of that communication is really key. And between Sarah and Jenna, they do a really good job of providing seamless branding, messaging, which, you know, I feel reflects a really, really authentic view of who we are as a company, both our agents and you know, and our agency partners, our carrier partners.
And just
Absolutely.
for our audience, Sarah is the other co-owner at the agency.
That's correct.
Yes,
Just
and I
so people
partner with Sarah on all the marketing, and I love working with her. We definitely have similar mindsets when it comes to, you know, posts and video and all those different things. So it really works, and I think it's great to have the two of us working together on it, because we're able to come up with, you know, even more content when we're both partnering on those different pieces.
Perfect. What would you guys say now to those folks who are still on the fence, do not fully see the value of relationships through associations? A lot of the reasons may be, or some of the reasons may be, you know, it takes time. You have to be patient. Sometimes one association does not work, so you need to kind of move on to the next one. So any words, and this is a question for both Aaron and Jenna, on that, on those challenges that a new agent or a new producer wanting to be part of the agency might face, and how and why they should overcome those obstacles?
Do you want to go first, Aaron?
Sure. So for me, I mean, anything of value, as I say, anything of value takes work and time. the idea of marketing one time and having immediate results is pretty limited in scope. And for us, because of who we are as an operation, building those long-term relationships is what is the most important. And that requires time, effort, energy, and personal sacrifice for that experience. And what I try to do is encourage everybody to find those things that they are super passionate about, so it doesn't become a burden. It really becomes just kind of integral part of who they are. Because I think separating your business life and your personal pursuits ultimately creates two different personalities. For us, authenticity, I think, is the key to both our success relationally with our clients and our community, and with our team. Everything we do comes from a desire to better our community, put money and time and effort back into making our relationships better. And then it really doesn't become a lot of work, but there's significant amount of financial opportunity for providing the services that our clients and our community need in a way that is very genuine and synchronized. I mean, it's something that works really, really well in those pieces. So communicating that authentically, and again, it takes time. I mean, it's not something that you can do overnight and you go to one event. That's why I go back to finding something that you personally, the agent or the agency, is very specifically passionate about. If you're not passionate about it, it's going to be a burden every time the marketing event comes up, or anytime it's going to be a burden. So start with the passion first and find things that you're interested in, whether it's a charity specifically or a product or something, and then build it into your brand and who you are.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, I agree. You're never going to get immediate results. You're not going to go to one event and just bring in all this business. It's all about being consistent and genuine, and putting that care into building those relationships. And like Aaron said, passion drives a lot of the associations that we have chosen to be a part of. And I think a lot of us look forward to going to some of these events. Some of the associations only have a few events every year. And we look forward to them because we like the people that are a part of these associations, and it's always great to go catch up with them. It's not just, business related. It's fun. It's really fun. And we have a good time and relax and just kind of like catch up with the people that are a part of these associations. So I think it's all just about being consistent and not being afraid to fail, to try new things. And if you go to a couple of events and you're not seeing direct results, not giving up on that, right? You need to give it a couple of years to see if you're actually going to be able to get something out of it, and put that care into building those relationships, be genuine, be yourself, and like really get to know people. Otherwise, you're probably not going to see the results that you want. I think people, especially with COVID, ache for that, relationship with someone. They want to talk to someone that's genuine and actually cares about their life and isn't just trying to sell them something. So I think, that really is the way to be successful, is just to be genuine, and go in with the mindset of, hey, I'm here to get to know you and build a relationship with you.
And Jenna, I think you described your relationships as friendships sometimes, right?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, a couple of us will, go out for dinner with people that we've met at the chamber, or, grab margaritas, or, we'll do fun things together because we actually enjoy each other's company and want to know what's going on in each other's lives. So I just think a genuine approach is the best approach, personally.
So definitely sounds like a long-term play here, where you just have to be patient and consistent, and little by little you'll start seeing the results, correct?
Exactly. And you should enjoy getting to know these people too. It shouldn't feel like a chore, right? Find something that you fit into and then just watch it grow. I think that's the best way to go about it.
Yeah, from an agency operations perspective, I think that if you're looking for success tomorrow based on what you do today, it's very short-sighted. So a large portion of what Sarah and I invest in and think about and plan is, where do we want to be in 5 years, and what kind of financial and relational and time investment do we need to make right now in order to get there? And that's why we are specifically adding people to the team that can help get us there and want to be part of that process. And Jenna, in her role, is a very specific example. And that applies to the associations as well. So those relationships they're intentional investments on our part, but it's the focus and the impetus of that is we want to be relational and provide the quality service that the clients need. And in the end, we end up with great friends, and our agency grows financially and relationally.
Great friends and new business,
That's
genuine
right.
new business.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you both. This has been a great conversation on building these relationships through association. So, high five, since we can't really be there.
Right?
Alrighty.
Too
Well,
funny.
thank you, Erin and Jenna, for your time. I hope our audience enjoyed listening to your story on how you've really been able to leverage associations in a very authentic and genuine way to grow your book of business, right? It's without even trying, it's effortless because you're so passionate about what you're targeting, which is great. And obviously being part of the community is something that everyone should be doing, really being that resource, that insurance resource for those who are in need of some insurance. So thank you both again. For those listening, check out Liberty Mutual's Business and Industry Association referral resource on the Helping You Succeed page and many of our other marketing programs. Thank you so much for joining, Erin and Jenna.
Thank you
Thanks
for
for
having us.
Bye.
Bye.